Tell me about overcoming obstacles and staying on track. Start with you, Alan.
Yeah, this is really about self-limiting beliefs, I think, where if you think you can do something or you think you can't, you're right, as Henry Ford said. And in this sort of modern age, you need to find ways of getting stuff done, and you really need to use those 5 words: who do I know who? To help you to get things done, because there are lots of specialists, and you can't know everything yourself. All you really need to know is who the right person is to help you to solve your problem, and then you need persuasion skills to get the right outcome from that person. There used to be a saying that in British Rail, as it was the National Railway Company, you could get anything done because there was a massive resource capability of technical people and material and different sort of specialists. And if you knew the right person to speak to, you could achieve anything. But the constraints within British Rail were the rule book. The rule book is a book of rules that's assembled from all of the safety wrong side failures that have happened, all the accidents that have happened, all the things that went wrong. And so you can't do certain things. There's a massive thick rule book of what you can't do. But if you've got the knowledge and you know who can help you, you can get stuff done. So it's just an analogy, I would say.
I probably wouldn't use that rule book as a motivational book.
No, it definitely isn't a motivational book at all. It's the opposite. It's to get stuff safe. So it means it's very difficult to get stuff done, but you can find ways around if you know the right people.
All right. Well, what are your thoughts, Will, on overcoming obstacles and staying on track?
Yeah. Well, my next book is going to be called Go Back to Move Forward. So if people have stopped moving forward, and this looks like an obstacle, but actually what's happening is I'm not actually working on what I need to work on. Maybe I'm procrastinating, or maybe I'm getting distracted with something else. I'm just not doing what I'm supposed to do, I need to do to accomplish my goals. Then you got to start to look at, well, what's going on with you? What is going on with me that I'm just not doing what I need to do? So instead of trying to figure all that out, go, okay, what's the fear right now? Probably some fear, if you really tell the truth. And then if you can go, okay, what's this remind me of, And then, that's how I work with people. I get them to, what happened? Something happened. And all of a sudden, you made a decision. You come to some conclusion. You decided about yourself, or you decided about others, or you decided about life, something. And then you have to compensate now, not for life, but for what you've decided about life. So now you're working hard to compensate for what you've decided. You're not very smart. So now you have to work really hard. And working hard does not always produce the result. Sometimes you need to be smart. Sometimes you need to delegate. Sometimes you need to bring in a team. So I think one of the best things you can have is a mentor or a coach, because if you try and sort it all out in here, you're not going to get very far. You can get it out here and see the thing for what it is. And then, we can all give advice. We can even know what we should be doing. But if something's stopping us, take the action we know we need to take, then you've got to look somewhere else.
Staying on track, Alina. I think you know a little bit about that.
Yes. In order to overcome obstacles, first we have to have clearness of vision and definiteness of purpose. We have to have direction where to go when we overcome obstacles. Yes, we have to know what is it for, what is our why, and that why we should be very big. That is why we have to really have burning desire, the big goal, which is aligned with our vision. And what helps us to overcome obstacles is the first, I would say, attitude towards the obstacles itself. Because when we have the right attitude, and our goal is big enough, we know that in order to achieve that big goal, we have to grow. And this is how attitude to the obstacles comes, that we can see the obstacles not as a problems, but like a milestones on the way, which we can turn into advantages and learn from that, because we have to grow, we have to go out of our comfort zone. And this is what exactly happens, because obstacles are different at different levels, and what is obstacle for one person can be not for another one. So why is obstacle for us today? Because we are at this level and we have to grow anyway. And another thing is understanding the laws. When we look at the obstacles from the point that there is the equal positive in every negative and equal negative in every positive. So when we have this attitude and understanding the laws of the opposites, we can look positive in every obstacle. We can see how it can help me. Why is this situation given to me? How I can learn, how I can grow from this situation to be even wiser, smarter, and maybe this is exactly what we need. Because when we are in this situation, when we face the obstacle, it can be feeling very difficult and we can feel pain and we can start worrying. But when we look back at many obstacles which we had in our life, we can be very grateful that we had them, because those exactly obstacles which we saw as a problem became a blessing, and maybe because of that our life turned to different directions. Yes, and so we can be grateful to people who even created those obstacles, because otherwise we would not be today where we are today. And this attitude that everything what is happening in life is happening for us. Yes, so everything what happened, it was given for us because we had that goal and we had to grow, and it helped to become the person who we are today. And another thing is, of course, inner circle, mastermind, to having mentor. This is important to be among people who have big goals, who understand that the power of mindset, who can hold you accountable, to whom you can say and you can hold you accountable as well. So these are the tools that I think are very important.